right, it looks like it's about 2:33, so we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like we kind of peaked out at about 187 people. The good news is, I'm sure we've all been on these Zoom calls now since the middle of March. I did kick my wife and 2 children out of the house, so we shouldn't have any mishaps with people running in, asking for food or toys or any of those types of things. So I have until about 3:30, and then the clan gets home, but hopefully this will only take about 30 minutes. But I want to welcome everyone to the first virtual Region 3 Member Network Connection meeting. My name is Nick Freilich, and I serve as the Director of Campus Recreation Services at Centers at Cleveland State University, and I'm also your Region 3 Regional Representative. I had the opportunity to meet many of you at the Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio State workshops, as well as the student lead-on at the University of Toledo. But for those of you that I haven't met, hello and welcome. Before I go any further, I want to turn it over to Bailey Adams, my co-host, so he can introduce himself. Bailey?
Hey y'all, thanks Nick. My name is Bailey Adams. I am currently the second-year graduate assistant for intramurals and officials development at Central Michigan University, so fire up. And I will be in that role for 9 more days. And I currently serve as your Region 3 student leader for approximately, I'm on the West Coast, so about 12 and a half more hours, and then Karen will take over. So thanks y'all for coming, and it's great to see so many faces.
Thanks, Bailey. I know all of us have been hunkered down these last month and a half or so at home during the pandemic, and I hope everyone in your household is well and safe during this highly unusual time. As you know, we would typically be convening this meeting at the annual conference, but given our circumstances, we've obviously decided to host it virtually this year. So sit back and enjoy the next 30 minutes or so. The goal today is to celebrate our accomplishments as a region over this past year. We'll be covering 4 main topics: the statistics of our membership contingency fund and the impact of Region 3 on NIRSA, recognizing our regional and state leadership teams, celebrating our scholarship and award winners, and finally, we have some brief specific regional business to cover. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And our first topic is the membership contingency fund and Region 3 impact. So I know many of you have seen these numbers over the years. When I came to your fall state workshops, and I know Bailey had an opportunity to talk as well, we were a little bit behind on our membership numbers, but I said that we would catch up because we only had information through August 1st. And typically our membership numbers, renewal time is August, September, and October. So you can tell membership institutions were still on track from what we were last year. We're actually up a considerable amount in individual professional memberships, and we're a little bit down in the student memberships, but that's pretty typical just because we had to cancel the annual conference. So not as many students were going to join NIRSA in order to go to the annual conference. I realize that FY21 and FY22 budgets are probably going to be a bit challenging for many of our institutions, but I just want everybody to know that NIRSA appreciates the continued support of the institutional membership and the professional and student memberships. In terms of our contingency fund balances, very healthy. We're at $26,161. We were able to add $5,864.63 during the fall and winter months. All 5 state workshops and the student lead-on operated effectively, efficiently, and fiscally responsible this year. And each of them were able to financially contribute to our overall contingency fund. I want to thank our executive committees from our state associations and our student leadership team from Student Lead-On for their overall efforts this past year. So congratulations to all those associations and Student Lead-On. In terms of our endowment fund balance, we're at $25,398. We're currently awarding 2 student scholarships to the annual conference. And the last time I had an opportunity to check, we're about $8,000 off to contribute to our endowment fund balance, and that would get us to a 3rd student scholarship to the annual conference. And those are decisions that we can make as our contingency fund balance continues to climb, of whether we want to move that money over to our endowment fund for a 3rd student scholarship. And those conversations can be had as we kind of move along. In terms of the impact from Region 3 to the overall NIRSA, I'm sure many of you have seen this graphic before. It follows our website format and kind of our structure. But the two areas I want to focus on in the next two slides is the growth and the leadership areas. From a growth standpoint, that's our professional development opportunities, conferences, workshops, institutes, and the professional registry. And then for the lead bubble, that's really our service aspect. So the boards, the committees, the task force, work teams, scholarships, and grants. As you all know, NIRSA is truly a grassroots organization led by its members. And, you know, we always talk about in our own facilities and programs and services that we're student run and student led. Well, NIRSA is no different. We're a member run and member led association. They always say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to make NIRSA successful. So these next couple of slides highlights our Region 3 impact. So from a growth standpoint, our state associations, so we're the only region within NIRSA that has 5 sanctioned state associations. Those are our attendance numbers, presentations, and volunteers. So I'd like to give a virtual round of applause to all of our state workshops this past fall. We had 600 attendees, 111 presentations, and 120 volunteers. To talk about Student Lead On in the Championship Series, I'll turn it over to Bailey.
Thanks, Nick. So before I get started on kind of going over the numbers, I just wanted to extend a huge thank you to Rachel Decker and Lindsay Roush, especially at Lindsay at Bowling Green State, and then Rachel at Toledo for being the professional contact for our student lead on, as well as Lindsay being the student lead on coordinator. The amount of work that they put in was I mean, it's just an immense amount of work. And communication and logistical things. So I cannot say thank you enough to those two. And then to the University of Toledo as a whole, thank you for hosting the event. We had, as you can see, close to 300 people come to Student Lead On. We had 22 presentations and 81 volunteers. Those are great numbers. I know I met a ton of people personally and learned a lot from the sessions that I went to, and I was actually able to present as well. So I think that we all had a really good time and really, really fun experience. And I just want to wanted to extend a big thank you to those people for helping put that on. In terms of the championship series, we had over 900 participants from institutions in Region 3 participate in either state, regional, or national tournaments. So that I think that's a great number. We had 34 institutions participate, and then 18 volunteers for this for the NIRSA championship specifically. And I know we had Region 3 schools going all over the country to participate. So just want to extend a big thank you to the professional staff and student staff at those schools who either introduced people, teams or individuals to volunteer opportunities, to playing opportunities, to working opportunities, as well as helping those teams and people logistically in terms of finding those tournaments. And in terms of soccer, we had 2 soccer tournaments in our region, one at University of Wisconsin-Madison, and one in the Grand Park Event Center in Indiana. We had our regional basketball tournament at Western Michigan University, and then we also had a regional officials workshop for flag football held at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. So just wanted to thank all those people that helped make those opportunities available, as well as those who volunteered, whether it be as clinicians, as operations staff, or as directors of either the tournament or operations. So thank you all for either participating or helping others participate in those events.
Thanks, Bailey. So the next one is our lead bubble, and this is our service-based aspect. So these are all of the volunteers and folks that serve on the different task force and councils from Region 3. So from a board perspective, those would be the Foundation Board, Services Court Board, Recreational Sports Journal Editorial Board, Flag Football Rulebook Editorial Board. From the Assembly, obviously that's our NIRSA think tank. From a faculty perspective, we do have 1 faculty member that serves on the NIRSA School for new professionals and mid-level professionals. For those of you that don't know, that's an extremely difficult appointment, and we do have 1 representative from our region, so that's great. From a council's task force and commission standpoint, those 24 volunteers serve on the esports task force, health and well-being task force, NIRSA Championship Services Unified Task Force, and the Small Programs Advisory Council. And then the committees and work teams, those would be our state leadership teams. Bylaws Committee, Conference Program Committee, Government Affairs Committee, the Annual Service Award, and the Nominations and Appointments Committee. So as you can see, Region 3 is really doing its part to help NIRSA go. And I want to congratulate all those individuals and thank them for their service to NIRSA. The next set of slides is our regional and state leadership. So we'd like to go ahead and recognize those individuals. Hopefully some of them are on the call. We'll start with Ohio and the Ohio Recreational Sports Association. So our past state director was Stephanie Musser, and our current director is Michelle Rieger. From Michigan and MIRSA, past director Andy Bainline, director Bill Singleton. From Wisconsin and WRSA, the director Chad Schultz. From Illinois and IRSA, Alana Harris, and Indiana IRSA director Kristen Watts. So I'd like to thank the state directors for all their service over this past year. And Bailey, I'll go ahead and let you introduce and thank the student leaders.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and recognize Hannah Junta from Ohio State University. I'm pretty sure I got the pronunciation of her last name right. Her term ended in October. In Michigan, we had Serena Rodowitz. We had her in Michigan. In Wisconsin, we had Emma Pignato. In Illinois, we had Dan LaPalme. And in Indiana, we had Frank Calzada. All of these state student leaders were integral in both their state associations as well as regionally. They helped lead on. We were kind of our own committee. And we put out, we did a lot of kind of the random put out fires tasks. So I just wanted to extend a big thank you to those folks for helping be a part of that process and for being a leader in their states.
Thanks, Bailey. So this next slide, obviously Bailey's on our call right now, and today is his last day as the student regional rep. So I hope everybody had an opportunity to read the Region 3 newsletter this past week. But I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank Bailey for his commitment, service, and dedication to NIRSA and Region 3. He served as our Region 3 student representative this past year. And Bailey is always impressed, demonstrated great leadership skills beyond his years. And I truly appreciate everything that you've done for our region, Bailey. And I look forward to following what will surely be a successful career. For those of you that don't know, Bailey's done some virtual on-campus interviews this week, so hopefully one of those institutions will hire Bailey and get a full-time job. Bailey, I know he's also been instrumental in our NIRSA mentor and mentee program, developing an efficient process for the applications, the pairing and tracking. And our Region 1 representative, Ryan Hagan, said that he's created a standard model that we can continue and they will not miss a beat next year. So Bailey, thank you very much for all of your service, and we wish you well. And hopefully next year you and I can actually have lunch together, and I can buy you an adult beverage. How about that?
Sounds great. Thanks, Nick.
And then I'd also like to introduce quickly our incoming student representative for the next year, and her name is Karen David, and she's from the University of Dayton. So Karen, do you want to hop on real quick and just say hello?
Hi, I'm Karen David. I will be your incoming Region 3 student leader, and they always say Region 3 is the place to be, and I'm happy to be part of this team and help it move forward over this next year.
Great, thanks Karen. So we'll kind of move into our scholarships and awards. So from our Region 3 scholarships, the J. Michael Dunn Student Professional Development Workshop, Natalie Bertolasio from Centers at Cleveland State University. Region 3 scholarships, Matthew Altman, Northern Illinois University, IRSA Endowed Scholarship, Ethan Short, University of Illinois, IRSA Endowed Scholarship, Derek Applewhite, The Ohio State University Corporate Partner Scholarship, Greg Bailey, Kent State University, Core Health and Fitness Travel Grant, Lindsay Roush, Bowling Green State University, Region 3 Scholarship, Michelle Rieger, Centers at Cleveland State University, the Will Holsbury Scholarship, Courtney Lesnicki, Purdue University, the NIRSA Foundation Scholarship, Michael Thomas, The Ohio State University, Region 3 Scholarship, Zach Snyder, The Ohio State University, Give to Grow, Region 3 Scholarship, and Sam Trapp, The Ohio State University, the William Wasson Scholarship. So if we could give everybody a round of applause for those scholarship winners from our region. Thank you very much to those individuals. And for many of them, obviously we weren't able to host the annual conference this year. That credit will be pushed forward for next year's annual conference in Milwaukee. From an award standpoint, the NIRSA Creative Excellence Awards, we had several winners from our region. So the University of Wisconsin at Madison, first place social media campaign and second place for programming publication. Butler University, a second place award for website. University of Notre Dame, second place integrated marketing campaign. Centers at Cleveland State University, a third place for integrated marketing campaign. And Grand Valley State University, third place student digital media presentation. Our NIRSA William Wasson Student Leadership and Academic Award, Todd Dion, University of Notre Dame, Serena Ratuitz, Western Michigan University, Elizabeth Stitzel from Loyola University, Chicago, and then our NIRSA USTA Tennis Ace Award from Region 3, Indiana State University. Again, if we could give them a virtual round of applause for representing our region well. Thank you. Our last set of awards, NIRSA President's Award for the Article of Distinction, Leanne Lauer-Hopp from The Ohio State University, and Megan Peretti from the University of Wisconsin at Parkside. Our NIRSA Annual Service Award, Mo McGonigal, Centers at DePaul University, Stan Shingles, Central Michigan University, Robin Dieterding, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Mo, Stan, and Robin for their vision and leadership to develop educational offerings for the Aspiring Directors Institute within NIRSA. And for those of you that didn't have an opportunity in the past Region 3 newsletter in April, I just want to point out too that Robin was featured in the News Gazette, which is a local Urbana-Champaign newspaper for providing food for frontline healthcare staff treating patients for COVID-19. So I'd like to give a special thanks to Robin and her family for helping out those individuals. And then our other NIRSA Service Award is Mark Williams from the University of Notre Dame and Ashley Lax from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Mark and Ashley for their incredible vision and execution in the leadership and evolution of NIRSA's Championship Series. So if we could give all those award winners a round of applause, I would appreciate it. I know it's extremely hard to see this. Virtual applause don't always work, so we're doing the best that we can. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to John Lenz. John is the director of the Office of Recreational Sports at Indiana State University, and he is also the chair of the Regional Award of Merit Committee, and he will be announcing our Region 3 Regional Award of Merit. John?
Hello, Region 3 colleagues, friends, and guests. I'm here today to recognize an individual as an outstanding contributor to Region 3, NIRSA, and his or her state. I would first like to recognize Region 3 Award of Merit Committee members. Therese Kennedy from UW-Whitewater, Dave D'Angelo from The Ohio State University, Lisa Shea of the University of Michigan, and last year's honoree, Jess Gentry, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. We are honoring today an individual who has spent 45 years in the recreational sport profession. And although his roots are from San Francisco, and he has degrees from College of Idaho and Texas Tech, he spent his entire recreational sports career in Region 3. As a member of the original Marquette Three Musketeers, he began his career in intramural sports under the tutelage of Larry Priel. Three very respected professionals all began their career within a year at Marquette: John Sweeney, Howard Taylor, and Ren Seibert. Of course, by now, many of you probably realize I'm talking about John Sweeney. A brief summary of John's career shows that he attended his first NIRSA conference in San Diego in 1976 when a grad student at Texas Tech. Did you know that the NIRSA conference registration rate students at that time was only $25, $35 if you're a professional? Oh well, ours was free this year. He began his career at Marquette in 1978, where he advanced through the intramural sports coordinating, assistant director of facilities and operations, and associate director of recreational sports. In 1988, he became the director of athletics and recreation for the Milwaukee Athletic Club, a post he held until 1994. During those years at the Athletic Club, he never left NIRSA, and in fact was a regular member of the NIRSA Conference Program Committee. He actually has only missed 2 conferences in all 45 of his professional years of life. 10-year-old. In 1994, he made the move back to campus recreation as associate director at Northern Illinois University. He was promoted in 1997 to the director's position, one that he held for 10 years. All of those 10 years, John commuted back and forth from DeKalb to his home in Milwaukee. In 2007, he returned to his beloved Marquette to take post of director of recreational sports, one he has held ever since. John is a graduate of the NIRSA Executive Institute and has a management certificate from Marquette. As a former Wisconsin State Director, hosted and coordinated state workshops in Wisconsin and Illinois, as well as the MAC Directors Conference, and was a member of the host committee for NIRSA in Milwaukee in 1999. He will be hosting NIRSA with Teresa Kennedy next year. He has made nearly 20 professional presentations and has been published times. Although recreational sports has been his career, his true calling has always been soccer, and he has combined the two seamlessly. Along with Howard Taylor, they coordinated the first NIRSA soccer officiating pre-conference workshop at the 1990 St. Louis Conference. He continues to sit on NIRSA's soccer committee since 1989, and even spent a year as the executive director of the Milwaukee Kickers, one of the largest youth soccer programs in the country, overseeing a $3 million plus budget with full-time and part-time staff facilities. He's a member of the National Soccer Coaches Association. John continues to referee soccer and basketball at various levels, has been a longtime coordinator of various and significant state and regional events. However, John's greatest strength is in the relationships and mentoring that he has provided over these many years. He has consistently encouraged staff and students alike to serve in the community and professional associations in any number of roles. John's good friend Ren Cyber said it best: John brightens any room he walks into and is able to provide keen perspective on so many levels. John has been married to his wife Barbara for 36 years. He has 4 children, Mike, Danny, Thomas, and daughter Maggie, along with 3 grandchildren who keep busy. I'm very honored to present the Region 3 Award of Merit to John Sweeney. John, play on.
Wow, thank you, John. I appreciate it. What a great award. A 4-inch trophy that says, thanks for participating in the Region 3 virtual Zoom meeting and receiving the Award of Merit. I've waited 45 years for this award to get a participation trophy. I've probably spent $20,000 over that time in annual dues, and all NIRSA can come up with is a $2 trophy. Oh, well. Hello, sports fans. Typically on a Thursday, I would be finishing up playing noon hoops with our faculty staff group, and there would be a few hundred students and others in the building working out. I also typically have a weekly massage around this time, but I was able to push that back. But today I'm alone in my office in an empty building, just like many of you. Almost half my staff has been furloughed, and the rest of us have been reassigned across other areas on campus. But as we say in the intramural world, play on. Thank you, John, the Restless Selection Committee. I'm very honored to receive this award and recognition. I've had to keep this a secret for 4 months. John called me on Christmas morning. I was taking a red eye back from San Francisco, home of the NFC Championship 49ers, by the way, back to Milwaukee, and received a message from John and called him back. I had no idea why he would be calling me on Christmas Day. We are friends, but we're not that good of friends for him to contact me on Christmas Day. He really surprised me when he told me I'd been selected for this award. This was not on my radar at all. So it was a great news and very unexpected early Christmas gift. I thought there's no way anything can top this Christmas gift. However, later that day, my wife gave me a $200 gift certificate to Sybaris. So it was a good day and a good night. I looked at the list of previous awards recipients, and it's a star-studded group. Although I thought the recipient from 2013 was somewhat questionable. I know the award started in 1990, and I'm proud to say that I've known all of the past recipients, many of which were not only stars in the region, but also within the greater NIRSA organization. Most of them are now retired or close to retirement, as are many of the people that I grew up with in NIRSA. I've been involved with NIRSA for 45 years, like John said, 40 in this region, 30 in NIRSA. I've never heard of NIRSA until I was coordinating the intramural department as a senior undergrad student at the College of Idaho. My football coach, who was also the intramural advisor, told me that the NIRSA conference was being held on the West Coast in San Diego. I had no idea that there were full-time jobs available for working as campus recreation. I was elated. So off to San Diego I went. San Diego, California, the Hotel del Coronado. Wow, an unbelievable venue. What a location for my first NIRSA experience. I drank the NIRSA Kool-Aid and it was good. I strolled into the lobby of the amazing hotel and I spotted a guy that looked like he knew what he was doing. It happened to be Gene Lampkin, who was the co-chair of the conference that year. I asked him if he knew of anybody whose floor I could camp out on since I didn't have much money. At that time, Will Halsbury walked across the lobby and Gene asked him if he had any extra space in his room. He said yes. That turned out to be a luxury suite. He had more than enough room for me. So I was off to a great start. I've always said, join NIRSA and see the world. Having been to 40 plus cities throughout the country for our national conferences or other NIRSA related events. I've been blessed with a great family. Recreation and sports are a huge part of our family life. We all continue to participate recreationally, and my three sons all work in the sports and athletic field. NIRSA for me is all about the people. Along the way, I've worked with and have met many wonderful people that have developed into lifelong friendships. I've been blessed to work with great institutions, excellent staffs, and awesome bosses and mentors. Rod Sears from Idaho first got me introduced to NIRSA. As a GA at Texas Tech, working with Joe McLean, who was the director at the time and a friend ever since. Also Tom Cargill, fellow grad at the time and a friend forever. Starting my first professional job at Marquette with a very special group. We were led by our fearless leader, Larry Prio, who was the NIRSA president at the time and a great mentor as a first boss. Howard Taylor, HT and I roomed together at NIRSA conferences for 30 plus years. He snores. Rin Seibert, who went on to be director at Valpo for 4 years. Rin, as many of you know, has been dealing with some health issues the past few years. I want to give a special shout out to Rin and encourage all of you to keep her in your thoughts and prayers. It was a super group to start our careers with and one that has sustained a strong bond for all these years. Other special friends along the way, Jim Nasiopoulos, the 1997 award recipient, Deb Swanson, John Kratzer, who I worked with at Marquette in the 80s, my longtime WRSA Region 3 friends, Gary Harms, Therese Kennedy, Jen Kina, Jay Friel, who now works for us at Marquette, John Lenz, Jess Dvorak, and many, many more. From my days at Northern Illinois University, Juliet Moore, Becky Lewis, and Dave Lockbaum, my current staff at Marquette, who is filled with dedicated and talented individuals that make me look good. I have the pleasure to see and work with them every day. Rec Sports enjoys an excellent reputation on campus here at Marquette, and I'd like to thank the wonderful support that I have received from my supervisor, Jeff Jans, and our VP, Xavier Cole. I also need to acknowledge all of my vendor friends over the years, whose relationships I have enjoyed. I might not have attended every general opening session, but I did not miss many vendor parties. Oh, this just coming in. Oh, I see that the weather report in Phoenix, it's 100 plus degrees. Here in Milwaukee, it's in the low 50s. Of course, we'd all prefer to have been in Arizona for the conference. And it sounds like one of our esteemed colleges actually did make the trip to Phoenix. How was it, Dave? But the one silver lining for me is it will save me several dollars from having to buy celebratory drinks at poolside for my thirsty friends. I will give you a rain check on that for next year when you come to Milwaukee for NIRSA 2021. But I doubt if it'll be a poolside. Our motto at Marquette is to be the difference. I hope I have made a small difference in the students and staffs that I've been associated with throughout my career. I challenge all of you to do the same. You just never know how much students and staff are watching and listening. We have the opportunity to make a difference every day. In conclusion, I'd like to dedicate this award to my dad. He passed away this past fall. At the age of 94, he had a great run. After serving in World War II and then through the GI Bill, he attended UC Berkeley, where he majored in math. He was a pioneer in the computer world and worked his entire professional life at Chevron as a computer programmer and analyst. When I told him I was going to major in recreation, he was not happy and thought it was a waste of time and no legitimate career. About a year ago, my sister asked him that if he hadn't been in the computer business, what other career might he have chosen? He said, I kind of like what Johnny does. I knew then, and I know now, that I made the right decision. I too have had a great run, and I will continue to run. I could not have chosen a better career. Thank you, NIRSA. Thank you, Region 3. Cheers.
Congratulations, John. If all of us could take our computers off mute for just 1 second and give John a round of applause.
Oh!
Nice job.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Way to go, John.
Thanks, John. Great speech and definitely
Rock
deserves
on, sweetie.
Region 3 Regional Award of Merit. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Oh, there you are.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. We have just one quick regional business information that I want to cover with everyone. So I know at your state workshops, I talked about us potentially doing a 2022 regional conference proposal. I realize that, navigating this pandemic, both professionally and personally on your campus and at home over these last couple of months, I'm sure has been extremely difficult. I realize we're going to have financial impacts to our institutions and specific departments, reduction in professional development and travel dollars, and elimination of non-essential travel. So at this time, we've decided to hit the pause button on our 2022 regional conference proposal until at least July 1st of this year. And the goal is every 2 or 3 months, we'll kind of reevaluate it with our committee to determine if we should move forward or hit the pause button moving forward. But I did want everybody to understand where we were with that and just give everyone a quick update. I do want to at least recognize the individuals that have been a part of this process. So our regional writing committee, which is these are the different sections that we're actually putting together for the proposal. The regional writing committee, the background information and FAQs is the state of Illinois, Jess Gentry and Alana Harris. The budget information is myself and Scott Vandermoon, who is the previous Region 3 regional representative. The state workshop and lead on information was being done by the state of Indiana and Andy Fry and Jim Jamriska. The vendor relationships, the state of Ohio, Rob Becker and Chris Kroom. Scholarships and fundraisers was Wisconsin, Chad Schultz and Abby Van Note. And then the location and committees for this regional conference was being done by the state of Michigan, which was Bill Singleton and Andy Bainline. So I do want to recognize those individuals, and hopefully at some point in the near future, we'll be able to continue that draft proposal to be able to get it to our state workshops for an eventual vote to see if we do want to do a regional conference. We also had a review and feedback committee. Those individuals, as you can see here, so Dave and Kim, Lexi, Josh, Kyle, Courtney, myself and Scott, that group has not met yet. We were waiting for the entire draft proposal to be put together before this group was to review it, give us feedback, and then push it forward to our state workshops in the fall. So those individuals will have an opportunity to serve on this committee and to help that draft proposal once we unhit the pause button for this proposal. So I wanted everybody to understand that of where we are and kind of how we're going to move forward. With that, I think we're done. I know the state of Illinois has already done their regional business, or excuse me, their state business meeting. Indiana and Ohio are right following this meeting. Indiana, I know they already have a Zoom link that you can use. In the state of Ohio, we did need to update our Zoom link because the original Zoom link that we provided only hosted 100 people. So the new one that we have will be up to 300 people. It also looks like, and then Michigan and Wisconsin, you can take direction from your state leadership. They'll be having their Zoom calls or virtual calls at a later date at this time. I can tell you, I know Sarah Leskovic's on this call. She's the member relations manager at NIRSA. She kind of helped with the technology and putting this together. So I'd like to thank her. And Sarah's actually a Region 3. Region 3 is her original home. So she's from the state of Michigan, and then she did her undergrad at Ohio University. So she's a Bobcat. So I do want to thank her for helping us put this all together. And it looks like we also broke the record so far. I know there's one more region to go, Region 1. But we had, it looked like at one point, 219 people on this call. And we beat Region 2, who I think had 150 or 160. So Region 3 really is the place to be. So I want to thank everyone for their participation. And if you want to take yourself off mute and chat, you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, stay safe, everyone. And I will see everyone at their state workshop breakouts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.